Welcome back. Today's topic are tips for finding closely related keys for modulation. The first way is to add or subtract sharps or flats. Now what I mean by that is to think about coming from these home keys or your starting keys, and if you go to the right, you are either adding a sharp or subtracting a flat, depending on your key signature. If you go to the left in this table, you are subtracting a sharp or adding a flat, again, depending on that key signature. So let's take C minor, for example. C minor's key signature has 3 flats. So if I'm going to the right, I'm going to subtract a flat. I'm not going to add a sharp to the key signature since I started with flats. I'm going to subtract a flat. That gives me 2 flats. If I go in the other direction, if I add a flat, I'm going to get 4 flats. All of the keys in these columns will have 4 flats and 2 flats. So if I have 2 flats from the key of C minor, that gives me what key? 2 flats is G minor. If I go the opposite direction and I add a flat, 4 flats is F minor. And if you look at the relationships, F to C is a 5th, C to G is a 5th. So they should be related by fifths. Next, you're going to find the relative major. Relative major. So from C minor, the relative major with 3 flats is E flat major. That means everything on this row will be a major key. So you can think of this one of 2 ways. You can think about major keys that have 2 flats, major keys that have 4 flats, or you can come back here to your minor key and just find the relative majors of both. Relative major of G minor is B flat major, or a major key that has 4 flats, A flat major. So there's 2 ways to approach that. If you're starting with a major key, this major key has 1 sharp. You're going to find the relative minor below. Relative minor. We're still going to do the same process here. So from the 1 sharp, I'm going to go to the right and I'm going to add a sharp. That gives me 2 sharps. From this middle to the left, if I take away a sharp, that gives me 0 flats and sharps. My major key that has 2 sharps is what? D major. My major key that has nothing in the key signature, C major. Again, cross-check here, C to G is a perfect 5th, and G to D is a perfect 5th. Next, find that relative minor of G major, which is 1 sharp, E minor. Again, I could do the same process. I can find the relative minor for both of these, or I can think what minor key has 2 sharps, what minor key has no sharps or flats. So either way works, you're still going to get the same answer for both B minor and A minor. So that's the first way of finding your closely related keys. The next way is to use the actual circle of fifths. So if you've seen this in your early theory classes, this can help you now. It can be a tool. If we come back to what we've done here with G major right here, if I go one direction this way, I get C. If I go one direction this way, I get D. Those are closely related because they're next to each other. They're related by fifths. Inside here, I have my minor keys. Those are my relative minors. So all of these right here were represented in this table. So if you know your circle of fifths really well, you can use that as a tool. And the last way is to just find the Roman numerals in the key. So if I'm in a major key, I'm starting with 1. That's my home key there, or my primary key. My Roman numerals 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, and 7 diminished. So just like the applied chords, 7 diminished is not a key, so that's not going to be some key that we're going to modulate to. If we take this as an example in G major, for example, like we had up here, we have G major, Roman numeral number 2 here, minor 2 is A minor, minor 3, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and that's it. Those are my closely related keys. So if I have these keys down here, if I check it up here, they're going to be exactly the same because it's the exact same way to find it. Remember, C here is 4, A minor is 2, E minor is 6, D major is 5, B minor is 3. So your Roman numerals are represented in that box if that's how you choose to do it, or you can just know what Roman numerals are represented and apply it to that key that you're in. If we take a look at those key signatures, our home key here is 1 sharp. We have 0 flats and sharps. B minor has 2, C major has 0, D major has 2, and E minor has 1. So we end up having 2 of each, 1 sharp, 0, 0, 2, 2. So if you're starting with that 1, add 1, take 1 away, and you'll have 2 of each. Minor is a tiny bit different. Our Roman numerals here are 1, 2 diminished, major 3, minor 4, minor 5, major 5, major 6, major 7, and 7 diminished. So again, we're going to take out those diminished keys or diminished chords, those aren't keys, and figure out this example in C minor. So C minor, we're skipping 2, major 3, E flat major. Remember, we're starting that key signature with 3 flats. So we have E flat major, next we have F minor, we have G minor, major 5 is G major, G major, major 6 is A flat major, major 7, B flat major, and that's it. No 7 diminished. And those key signatures that are represented, we start with 3 flats. E flat major also has 3, F minor has 4, G minor has 2 flats, G major has 1 sharp. That one is going to be our outlier, mostly because of the fact that we're borrowing T. We're using melodic minor. We have T and we have te in this scale. Major 6 with A flat major, we have 4. B flat major, we have 2. So we still have 2 of each. We have 3 twice. We have 2 4s, 2 2s. Then we have that bonus 1 sharp, which is a little bit different. Sometimes you may not have a modulation to a major 5. Typically it could be that minor 5, which is okay. And those are 3 ways of finding closely related keys for modulation. If you have any other ones, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for coming. Screenshot this page to give you an example of how to find those closely related keys. Thanks for coming.